Hello everyone and welcome to Sabonis. Today I'm going to show you how to prepare Nonna Sabonis original fried chicken. I have to tell you this recipe has been passed down through several generations and it's a fried chicken with a truly delicious flavor. But have you ever wondered where fried chicken actually comes from or how it became so popular? Well, no one really invented fried chicken. Its origins are ancient and can be traced back to several cultures, including ancient Greece and Rome. And it became popular throughout medieval Europe before arriving in the New World. Now, fried chicken became world famous, commercially speaking, thanks to several key factors. First, the culinary development by African American cooks in the United States. Second, its popularity as an affordable and accessible meal. And finally, thanks to Harlan Sanders. Yes, the famous Colonel Sanders, who perfected and commercialized a quick method for fried chicken with a special spice mix back in 1940s, giving birth to Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's how this traditional dish became as a global fast food phenomenon through franchising and marketing. Well, let's not waste any more time and get to the recipe. I can guarantee you'll never want to buy fried chicken again, because this one will win you over completely. Enjoy the video, and at the end I will summarize all the ingredients so you can write them down. Here we have pieces of chicken already cut and trimmed of any large pieces of skin or excess fat. But most of the skin should stay on. That's a classic element of fried chicken. Of course, you can make it without the skin, but it will be slightly change the flavor since the fat adds a lot of taste to the chicken. Still, it's absolutely possible. Now, let's season the chicken, and these are the key steps to follow. First, make sure to dry the chicken really well using paper towels. Remove any liquid, no blood, no water. It must be completely dry before seasoning. Second, make sure the chicken has no strange smell. Fresh chicken should smell like nothing, neutral. If there is any odor, that means the chicken might already be contaminated or starting to spoil. Third, poke the chicken pieces with a thin knife, ideally all the way to the bone. This helps the seasoning penetrate better, and by breaking some fibers helps the juices circulate during cooking. Those three steps are basic and essential. Dry the chicken, smell the chicken, poke the chicken. No matter what recipe or season you are using, grill it or fry, always dry, smell, and poke. Alright, for this recipe, I'm going to use as a base Sabonis fried chicken seasoning. I have the small jar here, but it's usually sold in a large 10-ounce containers. And don't worry, I'll give you the full list of ingredients for the seasoning mix, so you don't need to buy it. The advantage of buying, of course, is that you don't have to measure and mix everything. It's already perfectly balanced. The recipe and ingredients are printed right in the back of the jar. So this recipe is super simple. Just sprinkle the seasoning over the chicken pieces on both sides as you place them into the bowl. Any excess seasoning that falls will land on the other pieces. Then add garlic powder, also directly into the bowl, followed by onion powder, and finally a bit of salt. Rub the chicken pieces well so the seasoning spreads evenly, and that's it. Cover it and refrigerate it for at least 4 hours or ideally overnight. Remember, chicken takes about 2 hours to start absorbing the flavor of any marinade, but ideally you should give it at least 6 hours. I usually leave it overnight, but 4 hours will be fine. While the chicken absorbs the seasoning, do not forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and give me a like. All that helps me a lot to keep sharing more Italian and Peruvian recipes and kitchen tricks with you. Alright, I won't wait too long today. It's been 6 hours already, so let's start frying our chicken. First, take the chicken out of the fridge and let it come to the room temperature before frying. Then, in a bowl, combine 200 grams of all-purpose flour, 25 grams of salt, and 11 grams of Sabonis fried chicken seasoning. Mix very well until the flour turns slightly gray. That means the seasoning is evenly distributed. Now, in another bowl, beat 1 egg with a splash of sparkling water until fully combined. Next, heat your oil to 350 degrees. That's the ideal temperature for frying. Cook it over medium-low heat and aim for full internal cooking before browning. This point is very important, the oil temperature. Once the oil is ready, dip the chicken into the egg, drain off the excess, and coat it well in the flour mix. Press the flour firmly onto each piece so it sticks completely. No chicken spots without flour. Take off any extra flour gently. Now, depending on your pot size, decide whether to cut 3 or 4 pieces at the time for frying. Don't cut too many pieces ahead of time. The chicken can get moist. Only flour them right before frying. Depending on your pot, make sure each piece has enough space to fry evenly. I decided to fry 4 pieces together. While they are frying, let's talk about cooking time. You might find many recipes that suggest different times depending on the size or thickness of the pieces. But for this recipe, if you keep the oil temperature between 350 degrees, any piece of the chicken, regardless the size, will be ready once it turns golden brown. That is about 22 to 25 minutes. That's enough time to ensure it's fully cooked inside and perfectly crisp on the outside. If you want to confirm that it's safe, check the internal temperature. It should reach at least 160 degrees right out of the oil. Once golden brown, remove the chicken and place it into a wire rack to drain excess oil. Let it rest for at least 20 minutes before serving. As you see, these chicken drums are beautiful golden, and their internal temperature are above 160 degrees Fahrenheit, confirming they are completely cooked. To serve, pair them with whatever you like best. Mashed potatoes, fries, salad, rice, vegetables, anything you love. And that's it. This is Saboni Style's fried chicken. And now, let's taste it. Delicious. The flavor, powerful flavor. Let's review the ingredients for 8 pieces of fried chicken. For the seasoning, Saboni's fried chicken seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder, salt. For the coating, 200 grams of all-purpose flour, 25 grams salt, 11 grams Saboni fried chicken seasoning, 1 egg, and a splash of sparkling water. Saboni's fried chicken seasoning recipe: 3 parts of MSG, 3 parts of white pepper, 2.5 parts of black pepper, half part of sage powder, half part of coriander seed, 1/3 part of ginger, 1/3 part of paprika, 1/3 part of clove powder, 1/3 part of allspice, 1/3 part of marjoram powder, 1/3 part of thyme powder. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and that you try making fried chicken at home. Now you have the Saboni family formula. Enjoy it! Though honestly, I still think it easier to buy the seasoning already mixed. Okay, do not forget to comment below how your chicken turned out. Ask any question or tell me what recipe you like me bring next time. I see you in the next video, and remember what Nonna Saboni always said. Never cook to impress, always cook to embrace. Arrivederci!